talk about my
But
village.
these men, pardon me, but these men have been tested. They've gotten their 6 million votes. What are you planning to bring to the table? They've brought 6.9, 6.1. Can you do better than them? Just in 5 seconds.
Okay, you were causing a problem by asking those questions. That's why I have always refused to be interviewed. This one, the party forced me to allow you to interview before I wouldn't have interviewed. Okay, so let's look at all the votes you have mentioned. But no, they've not been able to defeat Tinubu. Only somebody who knows how to defeat Tinubu should be able to run against Tinubu.
All right.
Do you agree?
Okay, yeah, you're actually saying it's not about agreeing or not agreeing, but it's just a question. Perhaps you know what they don't know. So maybe that's your advantage because you led the campaign for Buhari and you played a key role.
And I led it twice.
Yeah.
I led it twice and I delivered 50 million votes.
So you're coming in 50 million votes indirectly.
That's the question you're asking. That's the question you're asking.
Well, we wish your party well because...
Wait. Before you scroll past this, you need to hear what Rotimi Chibike Amaechi just said. Because this man did not come to play politics. He came to rewrite the entire conversation about 2027. Forget everything you thought you knew about who can beat Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Forget the familiar names. Forget the recycled faces. Because on Friday, April 17, 2026, Rotimi Amaechi walked into Channel's television studio and dropped a statement that sent shockwaves across the Nigerian political space. He looked into that camera, calm, confident, and completely unbothered, and told Nigeria something that nobody was fully prepared for. He said, and I quote, he is the only national candidate in that race. Let that sink in. Not peterobi, not Atiku, not Bola Ahmed Tinubu. According to Amaechi, every single one of them is running a regional, ethnic, or religious campaign. And he, Chibike Rotimi Amaechi, is the only man standing on genuinely national ground. Speaking during the channel's morning brief, Amaechi declared, "The difference between me and all other candidates mentioned is that I'm the only national candidate." He went further saying, some are running as Igbo candidate, some are running as Hausa Fulani candidate, and he didn't stop there. He named names. He pointed fingers. Amaechi stated flatly, they are all regional candidates, but I am not a regional candidate. I am not running because I am Igbo, even though I am partially one. Now, some of you might be thinking, Amaechi, the man who ran in 2022 and lost the APC primary to Tinubu, yes, that same man. But here is what the political class does not want you to remember. Amaechi finished second behind President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in those 2022 APC primaries, coming ahead of the then Senate President Ahmed Lawan and sitting Vice President Yemi Usibanjo, second place, ahead of a sitting Vice President, in a primary that many Nigerians believe was manipulated. And Amaechi himself has not forgotten that. He revealed on that same channel's broadcast that on that very day the result was announced, he told Tinubu directly, "I didn't agree." His reasoning? That it's in every functional society, there must be a balance, and that balance demands the protection of all religious interests. This man has been carrying his fire for 3 years, and now he has brought it into the ADC. But here is where it gets truly explosive, because Amaechi didn't just show up to contest. He showed up to dismantle the idea of Atiku as the automatic ADC candidate. Amaechi questioned whether elder statesmen like Atiku Abubakar, who he noted is 80, and President Tinubu, who he said claims to be 74, have the physical capacity to govern Nigeria in its current crisis. He pointed to Benin Republic, where 49-year-old was just elected president, and asked, how can Nigerians' leading candidates not even grapple with that reality? Amaechi declared boldly, if we, the ADC, are on the ballot, President Bola Tinubu will lose that election, regardless of whether it is free or fair. He doesn't want a strong candidate on the ballot. That is the issue. Did you hear that? He is not saying Tinubu might lose. He is saying Tinubu will lose if a credible opposition candidate stands on that ballot and he believes he is that candidate. His argument against Atiku and peterobi is not personal, it is structural. He says both men, however accomplished, are prisoners of identity politics. Atiku is seen as not president candidate. Peterobi is perceived as the Southeast candidate. And that ceiling, Amaechi argues, is what cost the opposition in 2023 and is what will cost them again in 2027 unless the ADC chooses differently. So what does Amaechi bring to the table? He has pointed to his record of his port development and rail lines as former Minister of Transportation, his governance track record in Rivers State, and his claimed ability to tackle insecurity, arguing that his background in infrastructure set him apart from every other contender. And then came the bombshell that the party machinery did not want to hear. Rotimi Amaechi looked at the ADC internal discussions about a consensus candidate and said absolutely not. He said, and I quote, I believe there has to be a primary. I do not agree with a consensus candidate because we have to allow people to vote who they want to in the party, he declared. And he went even further. He insisted that leadership must emerge through a credible voting process rather than a backroom agreement. And while he acknowledged that Atiku is qualified and has every constitutional right to run, he was emphatic that no aspirant should be handed the ticket without going through the due process. This is a man who watched Tinubu get a handed ticket in 2022. He watched the APC primaries play out in a way that left the country divided. He is not about to stand by and let that happen again, this time in his own party. Amaechi dismissed arguments about North-South power rotation, insisting that competence must take precedence over regional sentiment. He wants a fight, an open fight, a transparent primary where the best man wins. And that is precisely why the political establishment is nervous. Because Amaechi, in an open primary where delegates vote freely, where money doesn't determine everything, where the people inside that hall actually decide, is a dangerous proposition for everyone else in this race. He criticized the Tinubu administration pointedly, saying the market does not know Christians or Muslims. The market understands just one language, Naira and Kobo. Everybody is suffering. Everybody is looking for food to eat. That is not a political language. That is a man talking to the street, talking to the market woman, talking to the bus driver, talking to ordinary Nigerians who are tired and hungry and ready for a different story. Whether or not you believe Rotimi Amaechi can win in 2027, one thing is undeniable. He has just raised the stakes inside the ADC to a completely different level. And if the opposition is serious about dislodging Tinubu, they cannot afford to ignore this man's argument. The real question now is, will the ADC listen, or will they make the same mistake that cost Nigeria in 2023? Please drop your comments and answers in the comment section. And if this video opened your eyes to something new, and you need to do, and you know what to do. Until I see you on the next video, remain blessed.